Hey guys, Mr. Ki here, and I have with me the latest 5G devices from Nokia. So this is the Nokia X30 and the Nokia G60. Now, like I said, they are both 5G devices, but the Nokia G60 is the cheapest out of the two, coming in at about 200,000 naira or thereabout, whereas the X30 has a slightly higher price tag, coming in at about 350,000 naira. Now, interestingly, both phones actually look slightly similar. So why does one cost higher than the other, and which of these 5G devices from Nokia should you go for if at all you had the choice to pick one of the two? Well, let's find out. Now I'm going to start things off with the build of this phone, and the X30 comes with both metal and plastic build compared with the plastic build on the G60. So this is clearly an advantage with the X30, as the metal and plastic combination makes the phone look shinier and sturdier than the plastic look of the G60. However, I have to point out that the G60 has this nice flake at the back of the device that makes it shine under light, and I think it really looks good. Plus, it is far less slippery than the X30. Now moving to the front of the device, and the X30 follows through with the latest design trends. So they've included a cutout display and slightly thinner bezels. Now this is obviously different from the look that we're getting on the G60. The G60 has really thick bezels, and let's not forget about that teardrop notch. Now away from that, both phones actually come with IP ratings, but the X30 has a better water and dust resistant rating than the G60. So this comes with an IP67 rating as opposed to the IP52 rating on the G60. Obviously, this means that you would only be able to splash the G60 with water, but you can completely submerge the X30 in water without it having any issues, right? Oh, I forgot to mention that the X30 also comes with Gorilla Glass Victus protection, which is much more shatter resistant than the Gorilla Glass 5 on the G60. So in my opinion, when it comes to build, it is quite obvious that the X30 is a better option. But one area that the G60 actually shines at is with the ports. So the G60 supports a micro SD card slot and a 3.5mm headphone jack. Now this is obviously not present on the X30, and I think Nokia decided to make up for it by including an in-display fingerprint sensor on the X30, which I'm also sure is one of the many reasons why the X30 has a premium pricing, whereas the G60 uses a side fingerprint sensor that has been integrated into the power button. But guys, let me know, which one of the sensors do you prefer? So do you prefer an in-display fingerprint sensor, or would you rather go for a side-mounted fingerprint sensor? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But let's talk about the display for a few seconds, right? And in my opinion, I feel this is one of the downsides of this phone. So both phones use 1080p screens, but the major differences or display differences between the two phones is the fact that the X30 now uses an AMOLED panel, which of course gives it more vibrant colors, while the G60 has slightly larger display. So it comes in at 6.52 IPS LCD display, and in addition to that, guys, you also get a higher refresh rate. So the G60 uses a 120Hz refresh rate as opposed to the 90Hz refresh rate on the X30. Now don't ask me why Nokia decided to use a lower refresh rate on their expensive model, because I honestly don't have the answer to that question, right? But generally speaking, I feel like both screens actually feel really smooth to use, especially when you're scrolling or watching videos. And speaking of scrolling and watching videos, the sound on the X30 is louder than the G60. So obviously, on the entertainment side, I feel that the X30 might be the better phone thanks to the vibrant display, thanks to the better audio quality. But as far as the performance is concerned, the narrative is slightly different. So both phones surprisingly use the Snapdragon 695 chipset, which runs at 2.2 gigahertz, and of course, based on the Nokia trend, they both use stock Android 12, which makes things smoother, of course, with no bloatware inside. However, the Nokia X30 obviously has a larger RAM, so it uses 8 gig RAM as opposed to the 6 gig RAM on the G60. But in my opinion, the G60 with its price point shines when it comes to performance. I feel that it's slightly smoother over longer periods, probably because it is able to manage heat well due to the plastic build as opposed to the metal build on the X30. Now, moving away from that to the cameras on this phone. Now, surprisingly, the G60 once again shines in terms of camera setup, as it comes with a triple 50MP camera setup as opposed to the dual 50MP camera setup that we're getting on the X30. Now, quality wise, I must say that the G60 obviously looks vibrant than the X30, but when it comes to dynamic range, especially in low light, I feel that the X30 has a contrasted look, which adds to the details of the pictures. Now, I don't know if you notice, but both of these phones have slightly different color science, but let me know which of the color sciences you prefer in the comment. Now, when it comes to the front camera, the narrative is slightly different. I feel that the color science of the X30 looks more true to life than what we're getting on the G60. So what about videos? Well, they both support EIS, but the X30 is obviously brighter when it comes to the video look. Now, still on the cameras, another aspect that the X30 shines over the G60 is with the camera mode. So Nokia has included a couple of camera modes to the X30, like the cinematic mode. There's also the action mode, the speed warp mode, that are all missing on the G60. But moving away from the cameras, let's talk about the battery life. And surprisingly, this is another area that the G60 kind of shines over the X30, right? So the X30 comes with a 4200 mAh battery versus the 4500 mAh battery of the G60. And guys, during my time with these devices, when using the X30 to play music, to play videos along with data and Wi-Fi, I got an average of about 7.5 hours versus 8 hours of the G60. However, the X30 has a faster charging with a limit of 33 watts versus the 20 watts on the G60. So on a single charge, right, the choice might be the G60, but when you have your charger with you, when you have access to lights, then the X30 might actually be favorable. By the way, I forgot to mention that both phones actually support eSIM. Yeah, so the question now is, which one of these two devices would you go for? Or rather, which one of these two 5G devices from Nokia should you go for? Now, for those who value practicality and usability, I think that the G60 might be the better option, especially when you consider the fact that it has a better battery life. It comes with a micro SD card slot to expand on the memory. It also comes with a 3.5mm headphone jack, plus it is also cheaper, right? But if you value design, you value the build quality, you value the resilience, then the X30 might be the way to go. It has much more, premium feel, and this Nokia rigidity that we're used to seeing from, old Nokia phones. Plus, the camera is also quite good. But guys, over to you. Which one of these two devices would you pick based on all that I've said in this video so far? Let me know what your choice would be in the comment box. And as always, if you find this video useful in any way, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.